What's up, YouTube? You know, another day back at it. Let's just take a deep breath. We are in the midst of a really dry, terrible drawdown. And you know, yesterday was a pretty good day, even though it was all L's. But today, there's a lot to learn because I believe I made a lot of mistakes today that could easily be removed and result in better performance. So, without further ado, let's do what we do best. AMD. Yeah. So, first trade, man, stocks have been doing this a lot. So you got your Fab 4 here, plus one position, I get the color change. I'm entering in on the body, one lot with an event stop, and obviously it stops out at 82, bottom of this bar. A bit of slippage, should have triggered at 88. So that was ultimately a $62 loss. And then it just went downhill from after this trade. See, I'll explain to you guys after. Let me just get a screenshot and everything. Position plus one. I mean, come on, that's just right above. Small gap. And then the color change. So that was the first trade. Let's get that going. Boom, boom. Beautiful. Beautiful. I don't think there was anything wrong with this trade, particularly. Just no follow through. And that's the first sign of what I should have done next. But I didn't do it. This video should be relatively quick. Valid, name, position, and risk. Absolutely no follow through to the upside, which should have been a warning to me to watch the opposite color if it comes in immediate and strong, immediate and violent. Because what constitutes a stop and reversal? Boom, no follow through. First, no follow through. Follow through. Two, immediate. This takes a bit to write. Immediate reversal and violent. And just in hindsight, I mean, you could look at this bar. You probably should have stopped out right there and just reversed. That's what I should have done. But I don't have the confidence, and I wasn't comfortable shorting against position, but recently I've learned that this thing just sears through position if the price action itself is so violent. Like, it'll just follow through to the downside. Like, why? Look, I got the perfect position to go long, but price has absolutely no follow through, and position's on my side. But against position has a whole load of follow through, yet I don't play that side. Like, it's like this violence just like overrides this position. That's how it's been looking recently. Big bar and then like great follow through. I've been noticing that a lot. And I did also, right when this bar closed right here, this one, I told myself, if I'm not comfortable shorting into the support, the position, previous day close and everything, that I could just wait for a color change or pullback. And it comes right here. It pulls back and retests the 20, and you get your color change right here. But today's lesson, today's video title will be about focus. And I just gotta promise myself and you guys that tomorrow one of the videos that will come out will be about making my watch list, because that's something that I haven't put time into, and it's kind of embarrassing to say that after how much time I've been doing this. Look, I just have like this whole list right here, but bro, this list, I don't know how many stocks there are, but this is way too much to track. Spreading myself out too thin makes me miss opportunities, and that's exactly what happened today. Like, I recognize this violence. I was just uncomfortable shorting into position, but I did acknowledge that I could enter on color changes that like got below the 20. But that's where I messed up, because I went to trade something else. So let's look at Apple at 938. So this has a pretty violent bar to the downside into position, the Fab 4, right? And this is like the opposite of the other one. This one has no follow through, following this whole violent red bar. It actually puts in a tail bar to go the other way, but I missed it because I was trading AMD. So I'm looking for color changes to go long. So I find one right here, and I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4 lots with the stop, event stop at 76.5. Yep, below that bar. And I get stopped out pretty much in the same bar. Oh shoot. 4. Pretty much stopped out in the same bar. Name. First color change. Because I missed the initial ad, the initial entry. But if I were in this tail bar, I would have added on this color change because it's pretty close. But maybe I should have given this some a bit more significance, this violent red bar. So we'll put that in the takeaways. But just from position and everything, I don't think it was necessarily a bad trade. Position, because like this red bar got no follow through. Risk, this was a 4 lotter. Let me check. 70 minus 51, 21. 21, oh no, 19-cent bar. Yeah. So I got in at 72, 73, 72, 72, out 5.5. So I lost, let's see, 22 plus 23 plus 72 minus 5, oh, 48. is what? 72 minus 5 is 22, plus 24, plus 24, so minus 93, I believe. Somewhere around there, 90s, 93. So risk was good. After this violence, I probably should have let it chill until it got to the 20. And it did trigger. I didn't take these though. These were pretty textbook, right on the 20. Color change right there, color change right there, color change right there. And also on the 5-minute, it looked pretty good. It was over here. It like got one bar up, but it had like absolutely no follow through. But you'll see my worst mistakes coming up in meta. And I ended up at a max loss per day before I could even capitalize on any of these. So that's what happened. So this one I would still say is valid, nothing really too wrong. Just might have to take into consideration that big red bar at the open. Missed the initial entry on the tail right above the Fab 4. So I was looking for the first color change to enter, and that's exactly what I did. It pretty much stopped out in the same bar. Could have given that violent red bar in its range more consideration. And be patient for a trade closer to support, meaning waiting for a trade to materialize when the 20 catches up. So as you can see, this ad right here was not close to support, so if it did retrace, dip down a little, it would have stopped me out. And that's what it did. Could have waited, I guess, to take some here. After this violent red bar, like, this thing is shooting its power to the right side. But I thought that it had like no follow through, so whatever, right? But it's still a pretty violent bar. Like, for all I would have known is like this thing could have bounced right here and then just drop, sear straight through the location like the other stocks. And it's been doing that a lot, to be honest. And yeah, I guess just when I'm in a scenario like this, I don't see any fault in my trade. Just this bar, you know, makes it less probable, I guess, because it's so violent. Like these green bars up could have just been a quick bounce for it to drop before the drop. And I wouldn't have known whether it dropped or if it would have held unless I waited patiently to get these trades over here. So yeah. And then the worst part of the day, Let's just go to bad. Actually, the technical aspect wasn't too bad, but it's just like me like keep switching over to different stocks, spreading myself too thin, and all of that. So Meta, you can see the location over here. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm looking for longs, right? From hindsight, look, this bar, this neutral bar triggers at 291.04. This bar didn't even trigger over the top. But I'm gonna tell you, my worst mistakes for the day came within these two bars. Like half of my losses literally came from these two. And I don't see anything that triggers except or until this bar right here. This tail, which I would say was a valid setup. But the ones that messed me up, and these right here. I was trying to finesse a trade too early, I guess, on these like neutral bars. And Meta was not playing around. Meta moves. Meta moves. Let's just say that. So I see big old violent bar, yet no follow through. See, look, see, this is the bounce that it did. Green bar, this tail bar got all the way up here, and then it dropped down. This one couldn't sear through it, but look how the zone of this big old bar just never got disrespected. You know? Like there's bounces within it, right here and right here, but they keep dropping back down. What did this thing ultimately do? Yeah, this thing just like it slowly walked its way down. See, this was the first bar of the day. Drop, drop, drop. Now, the trend's not clean. I'm not saying the trend's clean, but like just price overall just ended up going down since the beginning of the day. But anyways, look at location. Big old red bar slamming right into the location position. Bounce, drop, 20s right there. So I'm still trying to trade this location, you know. So look at my bought at 295, 290.95, and 290.93, which is a bit early. I tried to finesse earlier trades. I was impatient. So I got two basically at the top of this bar, I guess, pretty much. And then event stop below this bar, 42, and bro, 1 cent poke below a bar's low is like nothing for Meta. So this thing got a quick poke below, hit 40, and that like faked me out, even though it was in this zone. But like I have to respect it because, you know, it's my rule. I have to respect it. 2 here, event stop. So I got 1 out. I took 1 out because it was still a decent location. I wanted to see if it would hold the 20, so I just took 1 out. And like I said, like 1 cent poke below a low is like nothing for Meta. This whole area is like a zone. It's not a specific price. And you can see this tail also poked below, which was a decent poke below, like this lows is 290.40. This got to 14. That's like almost 30 cents below. But I would still say that's within the zone, even though it's 30 cents below. It's just because Meta is so expensive, and that's why I removed Meta from my list. Oh wait, why is it still here? Remove this, because I don't think I could trade this, to be honest. It's too expensive, and the spread is too wide for me to be trading. I get in and I lose like an instant $10 to $15 already. And like I didn't calculate for that today, so like I ended up losing a bit over 100. So you can see the first one bought. Then I sell on this one because this one pokes like just 1 cent below. I was telling myself 42 get out, 42 get out. This hit 40, so. But then I realized it was a zone, the 20. So I got one out to see how price would react off of it. And so that's what. Name, man, I don't even know what to name it. And that's the thing. Risk 40. Well, I entered at 95 and 93, stop at 40. So I was kind of a bit over leveraged, just by a couple cents. And name, I can't even name this. I guess like I tried to enter like early on the body, finesse an early entry, but really it was a neutral bar, that it was an indecisive bar, indecision, a doji. So like let's just be like truthfully harsh in myself so that I could learn from this. And then after that, bro, what this bar actually did was come back up off the 20. So I'm like, oh, it might actually go this time. So I added one back right after I got out at 85. So getting back in here at like right here, and then we end up getting out of everything at 293. Yeah, you see the slippage? I meant to get out below this bar, so 39, but I lost an extra 9 cents. So now I'm out of everything. So let's calculate the loss on that. That was, yeah, risk was not good on that one. With the slippage and everything, the spread and slippage made it not good. And just the calculations, because from 98, basically the whole number 291 to 290.40, that's 60 cents. I can't put 2 lots on that. Realistically, I could only put 1. So I did over leverage on this. So let's calculate the loss. 95, I took it out at 38. So that's $57 loss right there. This one I took out at 3. $63 loss on that one. And then 85 out at 3 as well. Yeah, this was the worst trade of the day. Couldn't name it. Try to be impatient and get in, finesse an early entry, and then ended up over risking too. So I literally lost half my day, my daily max loss in the span of 2 minutes. Yeah. And what I learned is to like, AMD was setting up perfectly for the short. I'm over here trading this, trading no name trades, and then like trying to finesse early trades, miscalculated, and on like an expensive stock. So a poke below the low is like, it pokes below so easy and then stops out pretty damn quick. Because 1 cent on Meta is nothing, bro. So it could poke below but still be in the zone and pop back up. And I'm talking a lot because like this was a tough one. It is the worst trade I've taken in the series so far. But we learn. We live and we learn. Good thing. Position was valid. Right on top of the Fab 4. And 20 MA. Could have given the red bar at the open. Violent, okay? Violent. That's a pretty violent red bar. On the chart, that's literally the biggest red bar. That's pretty violent. More consideration. And maybe even out the upside. As it could just be a bounce into the violent bars range. Since that's what a lot of stocks are doing nowadays. Just to sear through position. Big mistakes. Jumping from stock to stock. Spreading myself too thin. And allowing myself to miss opportunities by not focusing on one stock. Trying to finesse an early entry so that I could fit in more size with the same stop without a trade actually triggering. So I couldn't name it. On a psychological level, this has to do with impatience. Yeah, pretty impatient on that one and lost half the day's loss, max loss. And then what else? Trading a stock that is too expensive and spready. Literally, when I try to enter, when I try to trigger in, 1 cent above the high and stop out 1 cent below the low. I could never get the exact fill and end up losing on the spread that way. Dying by 1,000 cuts. Therefore, remove meta from my watch list. It's too spready. The good thing about it is, like, if it goes your way right away, I'm sure you can make a lot of money because it's a big mover, but it's just too spready. You right when you enter, you're already at a loss. So that was just terrible. And then you got let's see, 43. I trigger in again on this one because this one is valid. And what is it? 290.88. Yeah, this thing tails. I'm in early on this one because this one's actually a tail. These are just small, neutral, indecisive bars. This one showed me a nice wick. One lot. And where do I get out? I don't think I could have even afforded this, but I still traded it. 290.88. My stop max loss is 291. No, 289.88. Oh wait, I could afford this. Psych. So event stop. Name, tail bar, position, same position, +1, 20 MA. And risk, just one lot, so we good. And sold at 50 on this bar. I think I sold early because this is when I started noticing the violence. Look at the follow through I got to my my upside follow through. This is what I got in 2 bars. What did red do? Bro, red literally decimated that in 1 bar and more. That's violence. So I'm pretty sure I get out like here, I believe. A bit earlier, at 45. Okay, maybe not that early down here. You get the point though. Like here. Which is also an L. But this one's more valid. 88 minus 45. $43 loss. And then the next trade was just bullshit. The last trade. Some bullshit. 43. This one I would say is valid. It's good. Compared to the little indecisive bars I actually traded. This trade is actually valid. Gave me a nice tail. and I entered anticipation late into the bar. Was actually able to name the trade an event at a location. So this was a tail bar in +1 position above the 20 MA. Got maybe about $1 of follow through, but nothing crazy for me to take profit on. I was waiting for 3 pushes or a new high. Next thing you know, my upside follow through gets decimated in one violent red bar. So I looked to just get out early. The red open bar's range was respected. Bounce into the range to drop. Compared to the neutral indecision bars that I tried to finesse earlier. Yeah, so look at this. This bar's range got power shooting to the right. This thing is popping up off the location, but nothing crazy, no momentum, no bullish momentum. Eventually shows bearish momentum, wipes out these green, drops through. And bro, you would be surprised about my last trade. Some bullshit. It was a bad one. This was like a Hail Mary. But I can't do this. It's gonna instill bad habits in me. So what I do is I try to go long after this bar, in this bar. So I try to go long at 86. 86, where is that? Basically around there. Oh no, not 2. Not 2. What was the loss? Minus 43, minus 175. So currently I'm down $373 with $27 left to go to $400 max loss. Like, I shouldn't have even tried this, bro. You can see this bar's range 99, triggers at 99. As soon as it pokes above the body, the red body here, I try to enter with the tight alternate stop below this bar's low, which is 50, I guess 52. Yeah, and it just stops out there. Name, color change. Yeah, I mean, it was a color change. Barely triggered in, but risk was bad. I only had 27 bucks left, like 99. Bro, I got in at 86 minus 52. I only had 27 left and I lost 34 on the spread. I can't even blame the spread. Like, this shouldn't have even been a trade I took. Too tight on a almost $300 stock like Meta. It wasn't gonna happen. Position right on the 20. But obviously, what did I just say? All this green follow through just to get decimated by this red bar. Like, the sun is now shining on the red bar. The red bar should get your attention and consideration. So yeah, I should not even. First of all, I shouldn't have even placed the trade because like it didn't fit in my risk. And if I did, it shouldn't have been a short or a long. Because I tried to go long. Yeah, that was bad. Terrible. Need to cut that out ASAP. Terrible trade. Because it was forced. First of all, it's barely a color change. Second, it came after a very violent red bar that eliminated all of my follow through, all of my upside follow through. Second, it came after a very violent red bar that eliminated all of my upside follow through. So I shouldn't have even tried to go long against that momentum. My attention and consideration should have been all on the short side after that bar. Third, trade was so forced that I had to try to use the tightest possible stop to even get the trade in, and that always goes wrong, especially on a $300 stock. What was I expecting to get with only 27 bucks left to risk for the day? Should have just called it a day and not even take this trade. If I took a trade, it should have been a short given the downside momentum. Yeah, pretty devastating. So I just gotta be more careful. Really realize the momentum, because look at this bar, so violent. This bar again, violence. You gotta look at what has happened, not what was there. Like my green side, my upside follow through was there, but what happened? Completely wiped out, bro. In one bar, one swoop. So like, pay attention to what the market is doing now, basically. And also, don't trade stocks too expensive. And focus. Focus is what I need. I can't be switching from stock to stock. In my head, I literally thought, yo, this bar closed. I'm like, yo, this is violence. But I was not confident and pretty uncomfortable taking a short into this, because I just haven't done it before. But I see a stop and reverse should have triggered here. That would have been the best case scenario. Getting 2 lots there with an event stop over here. Right there. And if I was uncomfortable with that, you can see in my live trading video, I said that once this closed, I could have looked for a color change or pullback to enter on. But what was I doing when it triggered? I was over here messing around with Meta and Apple. Spread myself too thin, trying to go look for opportunities elsewhere, just because I stopped out on this, when there were perfect opportunities to go the other way. And like, boom, boom, boom. All this thing did was drop. I did calculations. If I stopped in reverse, this like had perfect criteria for a stop in reverse. No follow through to the upside, violent takeout of green, and immediate. Enter there, boom. Add there, boom. Add there, boom. Take some profit. Let it pull back. Add there, boom. Take some profit on the new low and out. Bar by bar trail. It's really so easy in hindsight, but I gotta like get my real-time execution to that hindsight level, and yeah, just really focus. That's what I gotta do. And so tomorrow, promise myself I gotta come up with a watch list, 6 to 10 stocks, cause yo, this is not can't keep up with all of that. Trying to chase opportunities all over the place, and then once I leave, this thing goes off. When I come back, the trend just finished, and then when I'm looking for moves after the trend is finished, then it finally sets up on this stock, and then it's just like an endless cycle, endless loop of trying to chase opportunity after you get denied and you take a loss. You try to chase opportunity elsewhere, and it's not good. Psychologically, it like having a lot of stocks builds like excitement, and like trading shouldn't be exciting. It should be pretty boring. You should be trading the same stocks over and over. Get really intimate with the stock and know how the stock moves, and that's how you get really good. That's how you build the intuition. But if you're just trying to go trade the big movers like Meta, you miss these perfect opportunities. So watch list video coming out tomorrow, and then also just got to be aware of price nowadays and momentum, because even into like what should be good position and support or resistance, if there is like violence smacking right into support, like that thing might bounce back real quick and then just sear through. Like look, boom, support. This thing could have bounced back like this, but if it's violent, this thing is dropping right through. And I mean, this thing already just seared right through and retested underneath. This is like perfect. So yeah, that's the lesson for today. Focus. Alright, thank you guys. Peace.